Yeah, great point. I mean, huge matchup problems for the Warriors, because Jordan is just so competitive, can guard any position, and same with Pippen. So I think that team would do very, very well and still win titles in today's game.
I mean, I think what was it, Shaq or somebody said that Jordan today would drop 45 points a game, and people would be complaining about him today. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's ever going to be a really that crazy successful team like they were in the '90s. But do you think MJ would have been bigger if he was to play nowadays compared to back then because social media? I don't know how good he would be, be on social media, but do you think that his, level of fame would have been rising even past what he was able to do back then?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
his highlights would have just been going crazy on social media. Like left, I don't even think he would have had to say much on social media. I don't really think he would have said much. I don't know how much he would have said. I don't know. Like how like when LeBron like during the playoffs come around, he does like that zero dark mode thing where he. I wonder if that'd be Jordan year round, or if Jordan would be like tweeting things like oh hey like Matumbo, see you tonight, like baby, like
Yeah, I heard what you said about me last night.
I don't know. I don't think he'd say it like that, but I wonder if he'd be like, make sure everyone's watching tonight. Like, just send out a cryptic tweet like that and like log out and like not like pay any mind to it. Like, I don't know if he'd say that or if he would just keep it all to himself and just let his actions do the talking. It would be interesting. Or if, on the golf course, he'd be like tweeting some like, talking shit on the guys on the golf course. Like, oh, look at that. Look who won the card game or whatever, Michael Jordan. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know how much bigger you could get now, even than what he was before without social media. So, I mean, I guess it's possible to get even bigger, but like back in the day, it was like everybody in the world knew Michael Jordan, somehow, even though um, uh, there wasn't social media.
He's like the Babe Ruth in a way. I mean, he's literally the epitome of like I was always taught in baseball, let your bat and glove do the talking. Like he was the epitome of that in basketball, just let his skills do the talking. Um, but with Phil Jackson, do you think he is the greatest of all time coach?
yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, because I mean, just let alone with the stuff that we talked about the Bulls, and then to go on and win five more with Shaq and Kobe. Well, Shaq three of them, but Kobe five of them. To go on and do that, I mean, like a mastermind, like
Mm-hmm.
he's arguably three of the top 10 players of all time.
Yeah,
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I don't know how you can, put anybody in front of Phil Jackson, especially for the NBA, and then you start talking like about all sports. I mean, what other dynasty has had 11 rings in their career? I mean, well, who coached those Celtics back in the day? Was that Red Auerbach? Did he coach all 10 of those with the Celtics? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
I guess that could be. I mean, people say that Belichick is the best coach of all time in the NFL, but then even like with Belichick, he's got scandals around him, like you mentioned, Adam. So like,
Mm-hmm.
it came down to it, you would put Phil above him.
Yeah, and I agree with both of you. I mean, this is you got to consider him the greatest. I mean, his mindset and everything he was able to do and brings the people together. His, whatever he did is just incredible. I mean, I don't know if we ever see another coach like that, but what if Jordan was to never play baseball for that, year and a half? I do you think they would have, won another championship possibly. But you could also reverse that and say, what if he did play baseball? Because there's people who thought he would have been to the MLB.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like he was pretty burnt out, and I didn't realize how burnt out he was after that third championship the first time around, and he needed something new. He needed a new challenge, and he's like, you know what? I've given absolutely everything, and it's just that was one of the other things I didn't know is like how close he could have gotten, how close he was to making the majors, and you heard
Mm-hmm.
about these managers saying, "Oh yeah, he'd been you give him a little more time, and he was on his way there," and that's just unbelievable. And I forget a little bit about how long it takes these pro baseball players to get to the majors. I mean, it takes them like, I don't know what the average is, but it's like 4, 5, 6 years, right?
Yeah, it takes I mean, you just think when you get drafted, you're right in the rookie ball, and then there's a high rookie, and like then there's a low A, single A, and or low A, high A, the single A. It's like a whole process. Like if you're not literally like a first round draft pick who can maybe go from rookie straight to double A, straight to the majors, it's a process. It could take years, and you might not ever reach it.
Yeah. And I read one thing that the A's offered him a spot on their opening day roster, and Jordan's like, no, I don't want to earn it. I'm like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, the East was getting pretty good with the Magic there, like the team that beat them. I think them versus the Rockets, though, the team that went back to back without Jordan, essentially, would have been tough because the matchup of Hakeem Olajuwon would have been tough for those Bulls teams to deal with. And you mentioned Jordan being burnt out and stuff. I mean, I don't know if he would be 6 for 6. I don't know if he would have made it to the finals that next year. I mean, he was like burnt out. I don't know. And
Yeah.
he did keep winning. I don't think he would have played then until as long as he did. I don't think that they would have kept going with how burnt out he was. I think he would have retired maybe after the 96 season.
Yeah, I mean everything does happen for a reason. So it's interesting. I mean the media kind of did kill him in that part, that burnt him out in a way. But do you think he would have won any rings without Pippen at his side? I mean, he kind of said himself that Pippen was, there's no Jordan without Pippen. But you got to think like, when he's like finally reaching his prime in the 90s, do you think he would have won anything?
It's hard for me to believe such a competitor like him wouldn't have gotten at least 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, without Pippen, the Bulls dynasty isn't what it is. And who knows if Jordan stays in Chicago? I mean,
Yeah.
easy to say, but like if they never get him the help of Pippen, maybe he's just like, this GM can't do anything for me. I know that I'm the best player. I'm gonna go somewhere else where they can surround me with players. I mean, the whole basketball universe as we know is completely different, but I find it hard to believe that the competitor that he is doesn't find a way to at least win one.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I don't think he wins 6, but he's gonna win something. I mean, he's too good. And they would have had another very good player, maybe not Scottie Pippen, like top 5, top 10 player, but they would have somebody, you'd think, enough pieces to where one of those years that will find a way to win it.
Yeah, Tony Kukoc would have came in eventually, and that could have been big for him. But I mean, like I forget who said it's in there. I wrote it down, so someone said it. But he, like Michael Jordan, was playing for the team, and like it started all with hope, knowing that it could reach, get to that full potential. So it's pretty cool to think like, he probably would have won 1 or 2, or maybe he would have won 7. Who knows? But it's interesting to think what the future could have been. A big what if. But we're nearing 2 more questions. This has been a little longer, so I'm sorry about that. But who was your favorite Bulls role player?
Steve Kerr. I mean, just an absolute knew his role and played it well, but absolute jokester. I mean, just that press conference where, like, I guess I had to bail Michael out again.
He had the best lines, and he was always like that. I mean, I remember the media was always following Jordan and Pippen and Grant and Rodman, but like anytime he would have some little comment or he'd be interviewed, he always had something so funny and clever to say. He was great. Also, I don't know if you ever remember, there was a guy, Cliff Levingston. He was on the end of the bench, and he was like the rowdiest, like most vocal towel waver at the end of the bench. And people loved Cliff Levingston because you could tell he loved being there. He knew his role. He loved cheering for his teammates. He just seemed like this like really fun, awesome guy. And I think people in Chicago, they loved Cliff Levingston back in the day.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Steve Kerr as well, but because that like the mindset he had, God bless that happened to him with his father as well. Him and Jordan kind of were able to get, I guess, closer. Than, even though they never really talked about that, but he definitely got that humor from his dad. Like his dad was a very intelligent man, but I mean that press conference, with bailing Michael out was hilarious. But another one is Paxton. I mean, Tyler, did you know Paxton, or you kind of were friends with him in a way?
I didn't really know him that well. I knew Bill Cartwright better, but a quick funny story. I babysat one time for John Paxton's kids because they lived in the same town we did, and we had some mutual friends. And I met him another 1 or 2 times. He came and did an event. We were doing like a 3-on-3 event, and he came and signed a basketball. I might still have it somewhere. I don't know.
That's awesome. It has to be next to your Utah Jazz jersey, wherever it is.
Yes.
But so I wanted to save this question for the end. This is going to be in the hype video and all. But who is better, Michael Jordan or LeBron James? This is such a good question to end it on, I feel like.
Bill, it's all you.
And I hate answering this question. I think LeBron is a better all-around basketball player. I think if you were to build the perfect basketball player, I don't know how much different than LeBron James you would get. But I think if you said who had the greatest career of all time combined with their playing skills, right now I'd have to go with Jordan. I mean, 6 championships to 3, and just the competitiveness he had, the scoring that he had. His scoring ability, a lot of people are like, oh, it was like a mid-range, it wouldn't work today. It would work. Jordan would score a bunch of points today. And a lot of people forget how great on the defensive end Jordan was. And, I mean, he was Defensive Player of the Year multiple times, first team all-defense multiple times. I think if LeBron gets another ring here in L.A., then it's more a conversation about greatest career of all time. But Jordan's got more MVPs, more titles right now. I just think Jordan is the GOAT career, but LeBron is the best player of all time. So however you want to, whichever question you're asking.
It's a great debate for sure. I think for me, the way I look at it is if I was picking teams and all these guys are in their prime and I've got Jordan there and LeBron, I would pick Jordan first. I just feel like, all right, what is the best chance we have to win this game? For sure, LeBron is unbelievable, but I'm going to go with Jordan. I just feel like he has that killer instinct to where he will not let your team lose.
Yeah, and I mean, I've always been a bigger Jordan supporter. I just love always, when I heard about him, growing up and whatnot, and be like Mike. So I mean, and after seeing this documentary, I feel like it's kind of solidified his spot as the greatest as of right now. And there's so many things there's times in the documentary where he was like, I thought I should have won MVP that year, and it kind of pissed him off. Or I mean, there's just so many things about him, and I'm going to share this in the video. I took some screenshots. I put it on our Google Doc about the ESPN the little stats they brought up between Jordan and LeBron. But it's just incredible to me. So I would think I would want to say Jordan. Paul Pierce just came out recently and said that LeBron's not even in his top 5. It was kind of crazy to even hear that. But
it's just Pierce being that.
It is Pierce being him, but I just thought it was crazy. But this has been a very long packed episode. But is there anything you guys want to add to any of this?
I mean, thanks for having us on this one, Adam. I mean, hopefully, I know I mentioned this to you. ESPN starts doing more podcasts or a more style like this for documentaries, and they're coming out with the one about Brady now. I saw, but I hope that, they do a similar thing for LeBron, whether it be LeBron's career or just even that big 3 in Miami. Because I think we're not this Jordan LeBron thing. We're not going to have a definitive answer until LeBron is done, and it's a couple of years after that. Yeah.
And with LeBron, I mean, there was that talk in 2011 where the Cowboys literally offered him a contract to play football. I mean, he denied it. I mean, there would be so much stuff. And then Kobe's final season, I don't know if you guys know about this. I think I told you, Tyler, about this, that Kobe's final season was he gave him, full on access, like even more than this Bulls, access they have. Like he gave him full on access for his last season. So I don't know if that'll ever come out because, what happened to him, but it's just crazy. I mean, that'd be a very interesting documentary.
That's going to be an emotional documentary.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The more of this kind of stuff you see, I think people are just going to gobble it up like we did. And I think the next podcast we do, we should all Where's Waldo t-shirts too.
Hey, he says hi all the time. Where's Waldo's the man? but
it's on his own merchandise, greatest on the sleeve. So we know his.
He knows. But I mean, this is I'm happy that you guys came on this and gave your perspectives and reviews because I thought it was really cool, and I know that I was happy you two were able to come on this. But yeah, I mean, we'll definitely be filming some more stuff in the future. This is just really cool. But we just went on a limb. Now you grab a branch, grow the tree by being different, or just be yourself. Peace.